Hi there. Welcome to Drawn from the Word. I'm Sarah Cunnington. I'm sure you've heard the expression, travel broadens the mind. Even climbing to the top of the nearest hill gives a totally different perspective on the world, and not just its natural splendours, but also the variety of people who count this world as home. However, it can take more than a 2-week vacation or even a 2-year trek to fully appreciate this diversity. Sometimes you need to up sticks and live alongside it. If you're just passing through, you'll inevitably have only a superficial impression of both place and people. You barely have time to scratch the surface. We moved to France 18 years ago, first drawn here by a long-standing friendship with a wonderful French family. From our very first visit together, we realised we shared a dream of one day living in France, and every subsequent holiday was coloured by a search for our hoped-for French home. In every new department we visited, we were looking and wondering, would it be here? Would it be in this village? Then one year, after our usual exploration of a previously unvisited region, we headed for the area where our friends had settled some 10 years earlier, and where we would spend the last week of our holiday. As we approached the now familiar wooded hills and valleys, we both felt the strongest sensation that we were coming home. This was it. The next visit, we felt it even more strongly. So much so that towards the end of the holiday, we called in on a local estate agent, the only one who happened to be open in August, and he took us to see 2 houses. One was a definite no, but the other was a yes. We both felt the same thing. Even our daughter felt it. As we explored the slightly dilapidated old farmhouse, she suddenly exclaimed, "This is my room." After much prayer and waiting on the Lord, everything fell into place. The final confirmation was finding the little evangelical church some 15 miles away in the nearest town. So we bought our old farmhouse in a quiet valley in the Jura Mountains, and the following year we packed up all our possessions and left the low rolling hills of the Garden of England for good. There's a story of a young missionary arriving fresh-faced from Europe. The elderly couple she was to replace asked her why God had brought her to Africa. Full of enthusiasm, she replied, "To save souls, to lead people to the Lord, to do His will, to serve in His name." The soon-to-be retiring missionaries smiled and gently shook their heads. No, that was not the true reason. God had brought her to this place so that these pagan people and the situations in which she'd find herself would transform her. Sometimes joyfully and sometimes painfully, she would be changed into the likeness of Jesus. I would say this has been the case with us. At least it's an ongoing process. As we've got to know our neighbours and our brothers and sisters at the church, we've had to let go of a lot of assumptions. We are being changed. They say that people are the same the world over. In a way, it's true, but the subtle or not so subtle differences cannot be overlooked. As a stranger trying to assimilate, you're constantly learning from and astounded by these differences in manners, in language, of course, in custom and culture, and especially in France, in administrative procedures. If you can get over these or negotiate your way through or around them, then you can get to the heart of things, and that is where people are the same. We all need the pardon and peace that only Jesus can give. More than anything, we have discovered the truth of Peter's message in his first letter, in chapter 2, verse 11. Here, he reminds us that we are sojourners and pilgrims in the world, not settlers. We will never be French. We'll always be foreigners in France, however warmly we've been welcomed and despite our carte de séjour. Now, when we return home to visit friends and family, we find we've become foreigners in England too. So much has moved on while we've been away, and we've not really moved with it. Perhaps what has changed us most is the realization that whatever passport any of us might hold as Christians, our true citizenship is in heaven. So whether the land in which we live is beautiful or brutal, we have a better kingdom, a greater king, and a brighter future. We are not meant to be settlers. We are called to be pilgrims. God bless you. Have a good week in Jesus. Bye-bye for now.